Man, those progressives, they really, really, really like lines. I mean, they're just crazy about them. They like bread lines. They're like lines at TSA. If you're Hunter, you like other lines. This is getting ridiculous. The question is, will it fall on them? I'm Tony Katz. The show is Tony Katz. Today we've got a radio show as well. Let's bring it in.
I want to begin by just saying we're doing extremely well in Iran. The difference between them and us is they had a Navy 2 weeks ago. They have no Navy anymore. It's all at the bottom of the sea. 58 ships knocked down in 2 days. And we have the greatest Navy anywhere in the world. It's not even close. But we are doing really well. We're not going to let them have nuclear weapons, because if they had them, they'd use them, and we're not going to let that happen.
That is the president of the United States. His name is Donald Trump. You've seen pictures speaking with the Navy midshipmen because they won the Army-Navy game. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. 833-468-8669, 833. Got Tony. We will get into Iran, but to do so, you're going to have to stand in the long lines that are everywhere you want to fly. TSA cannot keep up. TSA cannot keep up. I would ask the question of, is there a plan here to have TSA even less on alert or less in the airports, even though they're not getting paid less than normally would be? I can't answer that. I'm full conspiratorial there. What I can tell you is that these lines are bad, that they are extending hundreds of people, if not thousands of people long. Houston, Atlanta, LaGuardia. This is the latest information that I have about the delays. You've got about 10% of TSA agents not showing up to work. Never mind whoever may be slow rolling things because they're not getting paid. The delays are everywhere. One of these delays, so this is Hartsfield-Jackson, right? That's Atlanta, people. You can't make this up. The line is forever.
Behind the camera this morning with me, Roger, give them this perspective. It's unbelievable. Thousands and thousands of travelers just trying to get through the main TSA checkpoint. They have wrapped this line through the baggage claim area over here by Delta. And I got to behind the.
When they say they wrapped it around the baggage claim, if you watch the live stream, you'll be able to see the video. So picture whatever airport you're near, you've got all the baggage claims and the little conveyor belt systems that go through. The people are weaving through those, setting up their own queues like they're waiting to go on Splash Mountain at Disney. People still go on Splash? Is there still a Splash Mountain? It's been a long time since I've been to Disney. Name your favorite ride. You're waiting 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. It's flat out brutality and no end in sight. This is the TSA wait times. I didn't know there was a site for this. There's actually an app. You can't do it online. There's an actual app. Provides passengers with 24/7 access to the most frequently requested airport security information on any mobile device. I swear I didn't know this was a thing. I can do this? Oh, no, I can check border wait times, or I can check TSA. Guys, we're going to have to do this right now. We're going to have to give the real-time information right now. The real question for us is, does this real-time information affect Democrats for the midterms? And why is it that we have Republicans who are not hanging this around their necks? It was us. It was we who said that Republicans should be at the airports, handing out bottles of water, apologizing for the delays, and reminding them Democrats did this. They've done all of this. Every last bit of this. None of this would be happening if Democrats just believed in keeping the country safe and went about funding the Department of Homeland Security. None of it. But I still don't see where they're getting tough enough to make that happen. But now the pressure is going to be on both of them, because the traveler is not going to give a good holy you-know-what about whose fault it is. They're not going to care. All they're going to do is say, why is this taking so long? So, by the way, I downloaded it, and the first thing I see is a note. I downloaded the TSA app. Due to the lapse in federal funding, this website will not be actively managed. Click here for more information. So I can't even check a wait time. There's no about wait times. So you view an airport. So let's pick an airport. Let's see if I can do that. Pick an airport for me. Let's pick O'Hare. Let's pick O'Hare, right? Chicago, big airport, right? Let's do that. Chicago O'Hare. Now this is a simple one. This just says 15 to 30 minutes. That's all it says. Well, 15 to 30 minutes is still, of course, a lot of time, but not much time. That's a very Trump answer I just gave. Now let's check Atlanta. There's Hartsfield-Jackson. This says 0 to 15 minutes. Now, I just showed you a line that had thousands of people in it. Now it's 15 minutes? Something tells me that the app really is not updated. LaGuardia, it was out the door and into the parking lot. People are now giving me, you want me to check? I'll check New Orleans. I will check New Orleans and see what they say. New, there it is. Louis Armstrong says 0 to 15 minutes. Well, how is that possible when I see lines that take 900 miles or they go on for forever? As we are in spring break, and you've got people flying here, there, and everywhere, people have a tendency to remember these things. They have a tendency to ask themselves, what's going on with the country if we can't do these basics properly? I have no interest at all in looking like, acting like, feeling like some third world nation. We're supposed to do this better. Now, you understand that I don't even believe in the TSA. We should drop the TSA and we should go back to airports taking care of their own security. It should be privatized. It should not be the government. I don't apologize for that. It's a question of whether or not there is enough pain put on politicos to make this end. And the pain has to be fund the Department of Homeland Security, because it's more than TSA. It's Coast Guard. It's a whole host of things. And Democrats are very, very clear. They don't care what the pain is. Doesn't matter. When you don't care what the pain is, two things are possible. First, you're a masochist. And your safe word is Harry Reid. Oh, sorry. I just made myself throw up in my mouth a little. The other one is you do not believe it will affect you. What happens when the Democratic Party, having set this in motion, refusing to fund the Department of Homeland Security. What happens when they believe it's not going to have any effect on us? This won't matter. We're going to walk into the midterms and we're going to say Trump bad, and everyone's going to go, that's right, Trump's bad, and they're going to be full on deranged. That's enough. Are you telling me that the Democratic Party believes they can do quite literally anything? Make you wait in a line for 5 hours where there's so many people waiting on lines, the bathrooms don't necessarily work. They can't keep up. There's not enough movement. There's too many people in one concentrated spot. And they're still going to win? You know, there were some stories that came out yesterday. Oh, the squad is very, very concerned because some of their handpicked candidates lost primaries in Illinois. Oh my gosh, take a look at this big win for Republicans in Virginia Beach. There are lessons to be learned there, but it's not somehow a lesson that people are really pushing back against progressivism. I just laid out a story based on the facts as presented. 3, 4, 5 hour lines to get through TSA, through security. And Democrats feel no need to make a change to anything. They don't feel any need to make a change to anything. That is a group of people who seem unconcerned about the future. They seem to believe that they can still win. They seem to believe that anything that happens, they can just brush that mother right off. Right off. Why do they feel this way? How possibly can they feel this way? How can that remotely be possible? I'm asking because the only thing I can come to, the only math I can do, is that the Republican Party is so wholly and completely and ridiculously weak, shamefully, pathetically, embarrassingly weak, that they haven't figured out how to fight this or pin it on Democrats, and Democrats will be able to pin it on them. As a voter, as somebody who doesn't want a party that is okay with inflicting pain on the American people, a party that actually believes that men can be women and women can be men, a party that wants Iran to win, a party that is so obsessed with Donald Trump that they cannot see straight. I don't want this party anywhere near power. And they can quite literally inconvenience air travel to the point of madness. Madness. And still win means the Republican Party is more feckless, more weak, and more incapable than I thought. For weeks, we have been discussing these issues, how to hang these stories around the Democrats because it is theirs. And what have we said? They're too busy trying to look good in their suits. They're too busy. Too busy trying to be all gentlemanly. The other side is calling you Nazis. And you can't win this easy PR battle. I have a path to winning the midterms, and it's the Republicans over the past 2 months have decided at literally every turn to shut down that path. Like, I don't know what they're doing. And I am more and more in the headspace of, do these people want to lose? seems like they want to lose because losing is easier than winning. Winning means doing the work. Losing, you get to complain that you don't get to do the work. Gosh, I hope you're not flying anywhere for spring break. Because I have no idea what's going to come. I have no idea how this is going to get resolved. I know this. I ain't flying no place. Not a chance. Stay right where I'm at. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. Oh, look at that. So that's a new one. That was a new one right there. What do we think of that? Is that a good one? Is that a bad one? Right? Some people said the music's a little too like floaty. It's making them all sleepy. Right? That's because Sarah is a hippie. She's a conservative hippie, but she's still a hippie. She's still a crunchy hippie freak. She's great at her job. Crunchy hippie freak weirdo. Just saying. I'm just thankful she's off the, hard drugs. I don't know if she ever actually did hard drugs. That I never asked her. That's just, I didn't think it was necessary. I don't think I needed to know. No, too soon? Too much information? Okay. 30 seconds till we come back. Fantastic. A little bit of a shortened live stream today, just because sometimes it's going to happen on a Friday, as I got some other things going on here in the studio, but still plenty to do. I'm glad that you're here. I want to get into what the Trump administration is doing regarding cancer vaccines. The article over at News Nation said the Trump administration is backing $200 million cancer vaccine initiative. And I said, okay, so They're learning from Operation Warp Speed and trying to figure out how they can apply it. I am not opposed to this idea, but maybe they're saying more. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. Find everything I do over at TonyKatz.com. So the headline was about this $200 million cancer initiative, public-private partnership for a cancer vaccine through the National Cancer Institute. This was reported by the Wall Street Journal. It'll fund clinical trials of vaccines that activate the immune system to attack tumors. Now, the issue here is that you've got an entire vaccine schedule that is now up in the air because the CDC, under the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., they changed the schedule. They have a different group advising them on the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, known as ACIP, Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. They put in a new board. They put in a new group of people, and this judge said, you can't have those people. Well, the other people were stupid. Now, they might know more about medicine than I do, but the point is that if you have a new CDC director, if you have a new Secretary of Health and Human Services, if you have a new president, they can put in a new board, and no judge gets to decide, well, they can't do this. They're not qualified. What judge knows this? Activist judges are a problem and will get people killed. Activist judges will have blood on their hands. So is this ruling from this judge, this Brian Murphy, is this going to change how they can move about this idea of a cancer push? How do we end cancer? And then how do you utilize Operation Warp Speed to do so? You say what you will about COVID vaccines, right? I'm not going to stop you. There are things we're going to agree about, maybe some things we disagree about. What we will mostly agree about is how dare anybody tell us we can't talk about it, which is what the political left did, is what Facebook and then Twitter did. It's what the White House did. And you had the White House colluding with Facebook and Twitter. That, kids, is the dictionary definition of fascism. And it was wrong, and it was obscene. It was disgusting. And yes, they'll try and do it again. You bet. But the idea of Operation Warp Speed, was instead of, hey, go out there and develop this thing and then we'll help you out, is we say, here's the dollars, get to work. It really was a change of system, and we can't deny that that change of system is very unique. But I have taken a look at this now, right? So I came across this story yesterday, and I've been staring at it and reading it and going over it. And the only thing I can come to is, are we about to see the White House in a very, very strong way, in a very, very present way, say, hey, drug companies, you get to now make money on everybody losing weight. This making money on cancer crap is over. It's time for this to end. You know you can do this. We know you can do this. And more importantly, the people believe you've been able to do this and you're hiding it from us. So we're just going to force your hands now. Because that is a winning argument. And I'm not a conspiratorial guy, but I'd like to see the hand get pushed. And I think you do too. This is Tony Katz today. Now, there's going to be a conversation about whether or not that's the role of government, right? Whether or not that's what government should be doing is that its job. Should we have a National Cancer Institute or National Institutes for Health or any of these things? We could argue no, but we have them right now. So why don't we use them? Why don't we use them? That's my take. That is my argument. All right, all right, all right, all right. Yes, I will discuss the great Chuck Norris. I will get into that. Gone at the age of 86. It's an interesting story, by the way. Oh, did I tell you that I might be buying a Porsche? Settle down. It's a weird one. Yeah, I have been staring at this. I'm not going to say specifically what it is. I'll say specifically what it is. It's fine. It's fine. It is it's old. It's a 1981 924. So it's a little more of the risky business look. And you say to me, Tony, why would you do that? Well, it is a special edition that 400 of were made. It is stick. It's a way to get into the world. I don't know if I want in on the world or not. Right? Because, I mean, I'm also looking at a 1974 Cadillac Eldorado, which is way more my speed. Way more my speed. Yes, it is a four-cylinder. It's a five-speed manual. It is a four-cylinder. Yeah, no, it is. So it's not. It's not outrageous or wild or anything like that. It's just a unique way to start, low cost point of entry. It does have a cool factor in the special edition. I'm not a guy who's going to work on it, but I don't think it would be beyond outrageous to have it worked on compared to something of today. Could be interesting. Could be an interesting way to start. Don't know if it would last, but an interesting way to start. Now, I could be convinced to go another direction. I could be convinced not to do it at all. Yeah, but Dusty, my friend, my buddy, my pal, my homie, as long as it's not a Boxster, as wrong as I am to say this, I will say it, a Boxster is for women. I said it. I meant it. I'm not apologizing for it. Nope. And yes, the Porsche will take up less room in the garage than the Eldorado. I'm going to need to build a new garage if I get the Eldorado. It's 942 feet long. And the hits just keep on coming. Tony Katz today. Sad, but true.
85 past. We've got some sad news for our viewers at home. Fox News alert now on the passing of an American icon. The legendary actor Chuck Norris has passed away. His family posting the news on Instagram a moment ago. No word on the circumstances, but we do know he was getting some health care just as recently as this week. So he was a legend in TV and cinema and, of course, the martial arts. Trained a lot of actors, too, and actresses along the way. He was a devout Christian, born in the town of Ryan, Oklahoma in 1940. Chuck Norris was 86.
When it got announced that he was in the hospital yesterday, and according to the statement from the family, he passed away yesterday. Like, I didn't think anything of it. As a matter of fact, there was a tweet that was out there that said, Chuck Norris is in the hospital. Word is the hospital is going to be fine. Because it's these great Chuck Norris jokes of how tough Chuck Norris is. The man was 86. He looks amazing. And so I have them here. I have a list. I can't guarantee all of them, These are 103 Chuck Norris jokes from parade.com. And just to give you an example of the kind of things Chuck Norris, the flu gets a Chuck Norris shot every year. Like those were the Chuck Norris jokes. And there are very few people that capture attention like this. Usually it's older women. So for example, the whole push to get Betty White to host Saturday Night Live, the specials about Betty White, national treasure was Betty White. And then Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton, national treasure. We have an affinity for these things. June Squibb. And if you're like, who's June Squibb? Once you see who this actress is, you're like, oh my gosh, I know who June Squibb is. June Squibb played the grandma. Like it's the only touchstone I can give. I'm really embarrassed. June Squibb played the grandma. Yeah, that's June Squibb. June Squibb, Squibb, played the grandma in Hubie Halloween. See? She plays Estelle Dubois. Oh, actually, it's Hubie's mother, which is the dumbest movie ever. But I don't get to call Adam Sandler movies dumb because he's worth $150 billion and I do radio. Well done, Mr. Sandler. Well played. You win this round. But Chuck Norris is one of those guys. Totally one of those people. Just adored. Chuck Norris, awesome. Chuck Norris, cool. Chuck Norris, great. By the way, I want everyone this year, if you're having a boy, name your kid Chuck Norris. Norris is the middle name. Do it right now. Chuck Norris, whatever. Chuck Norris Katz. Somebody get my wife. We're about to have a baby. By the way, Chuck Katz is a rough name. That is hard. I had wanted to name one of my boys Max, but Max Katz is impossible. You can't say that out loud. People's jaws will break. Max Katz. And then we went to Maximilian. And then for a while, it was Maximo. Oh, that's a good name. That's a good name. You could do Maximo Katz, but Katz is a very hard last name to work with. Norris. Norris is great. So I have now here the 103 allegedly from parade.com best Chuck Norris jokes. So if you on Twitter, you can throw out a number. Twitter X at Tony Katz. In the chat room, you can throw out a number. But I will start with producer Landon. You throw out a number between 1 and 103, and in honor of the late, great Chuck Norris, who gave us such joy and kicked a lot of bad guys square in the testicles, I will tell you a joke. Go ahead. A number between 1 and 103. 86. Well done. Well played. Number 86. Chuck Norris can sneeze with his eyes open. That's Chuck Norris right there. The chat. Way to go, chat room. Chuck Norris didn't die. He told death he was coming. Well done, Sarah. Sarah, who does all our digital work. Well done. Number 39. Number 39 on the list. Champions are the breakfast of Chuck Norris. Number 22. Number 22 on the list. Chuck Norris passing away at the age of 86. Also, for the record, there's a possibility he was sick and didn't tell anybody. I got to get into that because there's a whole thing I have about that. Like, if you were sick, would you tell anyone? And like, I'm there. I get that I wouldn't do that, but it's like Norm Macdonald. It's like Catherine O'Hara. What was he or wasn't he? I do not know. I have no idea if he was, but it kind of, the statement from the family. Can you find that for me, producer Landon? I have it somewhere. I just can't find it right now. The statement from the family kind of makes you think that he was ill and maybe they knew it. Number 71. Number 71. This is the 103 best Chuck Norris jokes. Number 71, the chat room wants to hear. Number 71. Most people have 23 pairs of chromosomes. Chuck Norris has 72, and they're all lethal. I don't know why that's a joke, but there it is. Number 59, I will give you number 59. Chuck Norris is the only person that can punch a cyclops between the eye. Oh my God, that's really funny. That's really good. I actually turned red. My whole face is a very unique shade of red. Oh my gosh, that's really good. I'm sorry I laughed beforehand. I apologize. Oh, that is solid. Who else could you do this with? Who else could you possibly do this with? Number 22. On the seventh day, God rested, and Chuck Norris took over. Number 24. Chuck Norris drinks napalm to fight his heartburn. Number 23. Chuck Norris can dribble a bowling ball. Number 26, if you want a list of Chuck Norris's enemies, just check the extinct species list. Oh, that's so good. Chuck Norris once shot an enemy plane down with his finger by yelling, "Bang." Chuck Norris does not use spell check. If he happens to misspell a word, Oxford will change the spelling. Number 30. Some kids pee their name in the snow. Chuck Norris can pee his name into concrete. Number 32. Maybe 32 and 33 are fantastic. Number 32. Chuck Norris counted to infinity twice. That's really funny. And number 33, Chuck Norris can speak Braille. Man, good work, people. Good work on those. Right there. But I mean, like, how many people get that? How many people get that? The only person I can think of right now who, when they pass, will get that treatment, Bill Murray. Right? Just it's like weirdly transcendent. It's Taylor Swift would not get that treatment. Donald Trump will definitely not get that treatment. What happens in the society? Like, how does that work? Where we all, in all of these disparate views, you can't get people to agree on anything. The hot mess that is social media, the Yelp review society of trying to tear people down unless they give us something for free. How does everyone decide, oh yeah, Chuck Norris, oh, he's awesome? How does that work? As a matter of sociology, Betty White? How did that happen? And who was before Betty White? Like, who was universally loved? Just adored before her. I just because I can't think of them right now doesn't mean that it didn't exist. It's incredible. And I would argue that the vast majority of people don't even know his work outside of Walker, Texas Ranger. They have absolutely no clue. No clue. And yet they know this. That, Like I like that study to me is super fascinating. How does that transcendency in culture take place? How does that happen? How does that work? Producer Landon saying he was in dodgeball. Yeah, okay. He's given the thumbs up and the whole thing, but it's not what people really remember him for. I don't know. Maybe a younger generation knows him for that and doesn't know Walker, Texas Ranger. But everyone knows this one little thing, and that creates the rest. That's incredible. By the way, did he teach Bob Barker karate? Is that a true story? Look that up, Producer Landon. Somebody tell me on the Twitter X. Did Chuck Norris teach Bob Barker karate? And yes, on Twitter, that's a great joke. At Halloween, kids bring Chuck Norris candy. And he trained Price is Right Bob Barker. Some people lived a good life. Good on you, Chuck Norris. I hope there's peace. Tony Katz, 93 WIBC. Good morning. Welcome back, guys. Tony Katz today. People writing more Chuck Norris jokes. Did you know that the boogeyman checks for Chuck Norris under his bed? That's good. Also, yeah, I did that. I do a morning show, right? Tony Katz in the Morning News and WIBC in Indianapolis. And so I have a sign off for there, and I have a sign off for Tony Katz today. And I got so wrapped up in the Chuck Norris stuff, I did the sign off for my WIBC morning show at the end of that segment. People are gonna be like, "What the heck just happened? Was that pre-recorded?" No. And some people are like, "Well, I said good morning back to you." Here, some people are asking. Here's the list of 103 Chuck Norris jokes from parade.com. Let me see. Give them the Parade magazine. Yeah, there it is. That's it. They're so good. They are very, very, that gives me much joy right there. Much joy. Oh. Meanwhile, we've got an update on Joe Kent's tour of the Tucker puppets. You can listen to Tucker all you want. I don't get to tell you no. I'm not saying he should be canceled. I am saying that he's ridiculous. So's Candace and so's Megan. I'm not going to be able to take away their audience, kids. They've got their audience. But holy heck. It's very ugly stuff. And this stuff with this guy, Joe Kent. No, I'm not a buyer. No, I don't believe. No, I don't think this guy is a guy I'm supposed to have respect for. Not in the slightest. And I will show you what I mean in just about 30 seconds. Maybe less. So a guy who might be under investigation by the FBI, a guy who got pushed out of anything regarding war planning in Iran, Joe Kent, who decided he was going to resign because he could not watch America be at war in Iran after 18 days. It took him 18 days to find his strength, I guess. And what does he do immediately? The next day, he's on the Tucker Carlson podcast. And now he's booked for the Megyn Kelly podcast. So Tucker, Megyn, Candace, well, that's the trifecta. That is the trifecta of the, well, I don't even know what caucus you would call them. The trifecta of the useful idiots? I don't know what you would call them, right? You say to me, Tony, you're name calling. Listen to me carefully. They're wrong in their presentation and their approach, and they're pretending to be pious and intellectual. So even if you don't think it's right to say they're wrong, I wholeheartedly disagree, and I believe they are after something which is not the truth. That's my argument. Now it's my job to go about proving that. But when Joe Kent resigns on a Tuesday and is doing a podcast interview with Tucker Carlson on a Wednesday and decides that this is all because Israel has led the United States by the nose, which is such unbelievable crap as to be believed, I have to say this was planned. And then you get that he's on with Megyn Kelly and then Candace, planned. And then you see this. And you're like, Tony, what the heck is that? This is Tucker Carlson's show. His interview with Joe Kent, which was dubbed into Persian, well, I should say Farsi. You could say it either way, depending on where you're at, and broadcast live in the Islamic regime of Iran. Tucker's interview. Broadcast in Iran. That's how the reporting goes. Now, I would love to think that that isn't true. I would love to think that that didn't happen. But since we know that they've shared Tucker before, maybe if the Islamic regime, a terrorist regime, is sharing your show, maybe, hold on, work with me here. Maybe that's something that you should not be proud of. Then you should ask yourself, what is it that I'm talking about that has terrorist sympathizers, supporters, and financiers so in agreement with me? I can't stop people from watching Tucker, but I can sure as hell point out what the problem is. And I will. This is Tony Katz today. Find everything, TonyKatz.com. See, that time I did it right. See, before I didn't know what I was doing, but now on it. Done right there. All right. So here's what we've got. We've got the radio show in break. So we are going to be in break. And then I'm going to get to an appearance on Newsmax yesterday where I started with this in the first hour. I am exhausted's not the right word. I am infuriated by the unwillingness of this Republican Party to fight. And to fight on the winning issues. They're clear winners. You know, I'm not a guy who believes in uniparty stuff. There are times, absolutely, where it's like, okay, everybody's in on this. Everybody's just, doing their thing, and it's unserious, and frustrated as you are. But it is not the same. They are not the same. There are massive differences, and these differences are extremely important. But where's the fight? And then you get people engaged in a total misread of facts. And that's what happened with an election for Republicans, a victory this week in Virginia Beach. And I will have that story coming up. We are in commercial break, so we will take the break right here. My advice, smoke them if you got them. Yeah, I haven't had a cigar on the show in a while. I may get back to that. It's just not today. Hang loose, relax, take it easy. There is a lot more show to get to. Be back in just a few bits. Welcome back, Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. I told you we had some new stuff coming. It is upbeat elevator music. It was all right. It wasn't as hippy dippy trippy, right? But I liked it. So I want to get into this. Let me get first of all, no one is speaking, right? There's no. I don't think there's anything coming from the White House. There's no briefing today. There's the president talking to the U.S. Naval Academy football team about the Army-Navy victory. That's it. That is absolutely it. Market is down 156 right now. Oh, the super micro story. Oh, crap. I didn't do the super micro story. I got to do the super micro story. Has to be done. Has to be done. Oh, and I got to do the story about Australia. Oh, good Lord. What? There's going to be no time to do anything. No time to do anything. I've got EJ Antoni already on at the bottom of the hour talking about what's going on with markets. All right. Let me get this going. Let me get this here and let me get this here. Because the super micro story is crazy. And then that will lead us to the story regarding, let's see, do I have it right here? Yes, I do. I have it right here. Yes, I do. Beautiful. Excellent, Smithers. Good. All right. Now I'm good. Now we got it together. Let's go do this. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were ready, producer. Okay. Good enough. We can wait the 10. It's two very different stories, but I believe that it holds the same message. If we want to have a society that thrives, we have to accept the fact that there are some people out there who don't want us to. For the progressive, the worst crime one can commit is the crime of being bigoted. Evan Sayet wrote about this in the Kindergarten of Eden and has talked about this. He's a humorist, satirist. His speech to Heritage back in the day called Regurgitating the Apple, still amongst the most watched speeches in Heritage history. And it's the idea that for the progressive, there is no greater crime than the crime of bigotry. And when you discuss this, when you really expand on this, we're not talking about hitting this group or that group or the other group. It comes to the very idea of recognizing your own survival. Tony Katz, that's me. Tony Katz today. That's the name of the show. 833-468-8669. 833-GOT-TONY. Find everything at TonyKatz.com. Live streaming on the YouTube. Go to Tony Katz and subscribe. Do that right now on the Twitter X, Tony Katz, Facebook, Tony Katz Radio, LinkedIn, Tony Katz. Happy that you're here. Can't thank you enough. If you are not willing to say that one concept is better than another concept, I don't quite understand how that's possible. But if you're not willing to do it because to do that is to be bigoted, you're a progressive. If you say to me, I don't know if this candy is better than that candy, oh, okay, right, it's candy. Capitalism is better than communism. If you're not willing to say that, well, you're lost. But the progressive can't say that because that would mean to be bigoted, and you cannot be bigoted. That's where you get a lot of things like moral equivocation from. Oh, sure, that country's bad, but look what we're doing in the U.S. It's so you get that silly, nonsense, childlike type of discussion. There is nothing wrong, at all with being a loving, kind, and giving nation. There's nothing wrong with looking out for your fellow man. There's nothing wrong with having trade with other nations, even thinking other nations as friendly. There is something wrong with not saying of certain nations that's the enemy, and the answer is no. One of those is the communist Chinese regime, the communist Chinese nation, specifically the Communist Chinese Party. There are Chinese Americans living their lives who are not your problem. They are not a problem to anyone. They're your neighbor. This isn't about Americans. This is about the Communist Chinese Party. And no one connected to the Communist Chinese Party in any way, shape, or form can be allowed to own land in the United States or own businesses in the United States. Any land that they have must be taken away. I'm talking about expropriation. Oh my gosh, that's what Hugo Chavez said. Hugo Chavez, the communist, took it away from everybody he already had a deal with, whether it was oil or anything else, to move the communist agenda forward, and then took a nation rich in oil and turned them into people who are eating pigeons. I'm talking about national security, not giving up capitalism. The Communist Party wants to hurt us. The Communist Party cannot be trusted. There's no question here. If we want to debate it, we can, but allow me to cut to the chase. I'm going to win the conversation, and the other person's going to lose the conversation. That's all. This brings us to the story of Supermicro. The story is insane. Supermicro has been charged, the co-founder and others, with illegally diverting billions of dollars in NVIDIA-powered servers to China, which is not allowed. As a matter of fact, President Trump is trying to work out a deal to get them some of these chips. He's wrong. Just like the president is wrong to allow Chinese nationals to attend universities in the United States. It's wrong. 600,000 students. No, tell them to go somewhere else. And the universities in the United States that can't survive without these communist Chinese related students connected to the Communist Chinese Party, paying out full freight and out-of-state tuition fees to go to the universities, tell those universities to close up shop. Absolutely have no need to keep a university open by bringing in students from China who now want to do us harm. Nope, not interested. No thanks. I'll argue it anywhere. So what happened was this guy, the co-founder, Yishine Liao, went by Wally. Okay, everyone needs a nickname. They call me Vanilla Thunder. And he holds $464 million in stock in a company called Supermicro. What he was doing was smuggling these NVIDIA servers to China through a Southeast Asian shell company. $2.5 billion worth of Chinese servers, NVIDIA servers to Chinese buyers, $510 million worth shipped in just 3 weeks in spring of 2025. How did he do it? They built dummy servers. They built fake servers to show U.S. compliance. See, yeah, the servers, look at them. And they got caught because they're on video. Can't make it up. I have no capacity to make this up. They're caught on video with a hairdryer taking the serial numbers off of boxes and moving them on to the dummy boxes. The stock as of midday was down 25%. It's beyond people have to go to jail. It's espionage. People need to get hung. This is in violation of the law. This is in violation of U.S. national security. People have to be hung. I am not a death penalty guy. My issue with the death penalty is not that some people don't deserve it. Some people for their crimes do. But we have these cases out there where people are accused and found guilty of murder and these things, and they're sentenced to death, only to find after their life has been taken, some prosecutor didn't look at a piece of evidence. No extra DNA test was given. Someone suppressed evidence. Can't go back. You can't go back. So I don't favor the death penalty. And I thought about that for years, and that's where I'm at. But I guess there's a caveat to everything. Death penalty is where I'm at. Two people were arrested. A third is a fugitive. Now, are we going to find that this guy, the co-founder of Supermicro, was a member of the Communist Party, connected to the Communist Party? And the answer is, of course we're going to find it. Not even a debate, we're going to find it. Question is, why do we allow it? This brings us over to Australia. A very strange story in Australia, where the Australian Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, who you'll remember you had Jews shot at on Bondi Beach celebrating Hanukkah, and the answer was, well, we have to do something about guns and Islamophobia. These Islamists wanted to kill Jews. And they said, look at these Jews celebrating Hanukkah on a beach. Let's shoot them. Now, people will note that it was a Muslim man that went after one of the shooters and tried to get the gun from him. Guy's an absolute hero. Kind of proving my point that mass migration, whether it be what Australia did or whether it's what Europe as a whole, not in totality, but in the main, is doing, creates a problem because you have people who are not compatible with Western civilization. The Communist Chinese Party, their acolytes, and those they are connected to are not compatible with Western civilization because their objective is the destruction of Western civilization. You've heard me talk about the Red-Green Alliance. Some people refer to this as watermelon because it's red and it's green. It's the communists and it's the Islamists. Both want the end of Western civilization so they can go about their future. The world they want where they're on top, which, for the record, whether it's the communists or the Islamists, sucks for everybody else. It just does. There is no world that can be discussed that is better than the world with America on top. That is not a question of America being perfect. That is not America not having its own problems. And it's not a question whether or not America can be questioned for the things that they're doing. But if your choice is the Islamists or the communist Chinese, America comes out on top. Capitalism is the worst system possible except for all the others. Paraphrasing, cribbing Milton Friedman and a host of other economists. That's why we use capitalism. Is it perfect? I don't know what perfect is, but compared to what these socialist freaks want to use, it is fantastic. Capitalism is Viagra, and socialism is a picture of Rosie O'Donnell. It is that simple to understand. The Prime Minister of Australia is in a mosque. It's the last day of Ramadan, and he's celebrating with them. You already have him sitting there, engaging someone would assume in prayers. And what happens? Well, what happens is that people in the mosque start screaming at the Prime Minister. And while some in the mosque stand up to say, why are you screaming at him? Others are screaming at the Prime Minister. What are you doing here? You're guilty of genocide.
Allahu Akbar Allah.
Guilty of genocide. right? Then they start doing their prayers. Oh, you still want to buy into the idea that Israel was guilty of a genocide? Well, then you're a schmuck. We're through the looking glass on this. The people who scream genocide about Israel want terrorists to win. They want Israel destroyed because they want what? The end of Western civilization. Israel first, then America. It's just that easy. We don't have to pretend that isn't the case. And then the prime minister is walking out and he's being chased out by the crowd, chased out, calling him a genocide supporter. The man got chased out of a mosque. Now, I can't tell you if this mosque or the people in the mosque were people who were part of some level of mass migration. I can't tell you that. What I can tell you is that all nations that have allowed mass migration and never once made a requirement to the people coming into their nation that this is how we do things, your world, your religion is not ours, your political system is not ours, because Islam is a political system, not a religion, and we don't do that here. You can live your life, but if you think you can implement, institute, or lead us to fear over it, you're wrong, and we'll show you how wrong you are, which they would do, by the way, with any other religion or political system. They would. When you allow mass migration and you do not institute rules and recognition of culture and society, you will have people emboldened to tell the prime minister, get out. In both cases, we're talking about not some level of protest, screaming in a mosque. Screaming in a mosque. I don't know the last time I could have seen anything like that. That they would allow that. But you have the same exact issue at play. You have groups of people who want to do us damage, do us harm, and they want their world being in charge. Is that good for us? And the answer is no. So why don't we fight it? Why don't we ensure we never allow mass migration? Why don't we ensure that we always check who's coming into the country and recognize that some people are unwelcome? Some philosophies are not ours. They have no place here. Well, you think I'm talking about Islamists? I'm talking about communists as well. You have to take all the communist Chinese owned land and anybody connected with the Communist Chinese Party owned businesses, and they have to leave. The land is ours. Commies can't have it. For our safety and for our security. From American citizens, government can't take a damn thing. From commies, from, to quote, paraphrase Rush, the Chi-Coms, let them get angry. Who cares? We have safety and security to consider. And that safety and security means no mass migration. Everyone vetted, and some people, some nations, no. This isn't the place for you, because we have to ensure it's a safe place for those Americans who are here and the Americans who want to actually be a part of America and a part of this greatness. Apologize for nothing. I'm Tony Katz. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Tony Katz. The show is Tony Katz Today. I was just noting, the Catholics for Catholics event, and Candace was going to be speaking at it, and this chick who was part of the religious committee that Trump threw off, and she's like, I've been a Catholic for a year, and I know everything, and you're just a Zionist pig, and so boring. Like, I haven't been called a Zionist pig before. So she was speaking at this, and Candace was speaking at this, and then Joe Kent was going to speak at it, and 75 people showed up. Nah, I think they're saying that it was a small gathering. I think that the argument is that the influence that maybe these people have on social media is fake. Now, I want that to be true. I do. I want these people, Candace, Tucker, etc., not to have these large scale audiences. But I'm not willing to take the risk. And my concern is 20 to 29-year-old men falling for this stuff and becoming these full-on anti-Israel, anti-Semitic, I don't even know how else we describe it, kind of nutters. There's a real danger in that for winning future elections and keeping a country focused. We'll talk more about it. Right now, let's get back to the show. As has been reported, the TSA lines are through the roof. Over 10% of TSA, Transportation Security Administration officers, have called out. They're like, nope, I'm not getting paid. I'm not showing up. You've got wait times at 3 hours at Houston, George Bush, and Hobby airports, 3 hours at Atlanta Hartsfield. You have got delays at LaGuardia where they're into the parking lot. That's New York. You've got delays in Philadelphia. And now there is a suggestion of being over 3 hours early for domestic flights. And if you check out the My TSA app, which I downloaded just today for the sake of looking at this, I can look at wait times. That stuff's not even being updated. So it doesn't tell you anything. And the Democratic Party has done this. The Democratic Party has shut down Department of Homeland Security, and they won't fund it. And Republicans can't even begin to fight this the way it needs to be fought. But what they can do is they can go out there and say, you want a supplemental, you want funding for taking out the Iranian regime and ending terrorism? I'm Lauren Boebert. I'm not going to vote for that.
Vote for a war supplemental. No, I am a no. I've already told leadership I am a no on any war supplemental.
The audio wasn't working. She's decided she's not going to vote for that. Can't get funding for the DHS. That's not the fault of Republicans. No funding for Iran war supplemental. Quote, I am so tired of spending money elsewhere. Isn't the money spent removing terrorism good for us? Doesn't it actually lead to a cost savings? I swear, I've said it before. I'm saying it again. I'll say it again. Are Republicans really trying to lose the midterms? I'm asking. Meanwhile, we'll discuss the funding and we'll discuss this economy. EJ and Tony up next. This is Tony Katz Today. Hey, she doesn't want to fund it. She doesn't want to fund it. Maybe she'll get enough people with her. I'm assuming we will continue the fight. And I get it. Some people don't agree with me. I think this fight's important. I think it should have happened years ago. I get that some people don't agree with me. It's okay. But I haven't heard anything that makes me change my opinion. And these people who want to say, well, you see, it's because we're being led by the nose by Israel. It's gross. It's dumb. It's ridiculous. There's no basis in fact. It's fraudulent BS. I'm not going to be a part of it. And those people need to be pushed back on with force. And I don't care if I make fun of their sister. Screw them. You can't talk about this madness and expect me to buy into it without being called a ridiculous fool. And my fear is that 20 to 29-year-old men are buying into it. And if you lose them, you're going to lose elections, and then it's over. It's over. If they feel like, what's the point? And they've decided that this group over here, Israelis and Jews, are the ones to blame, it's really bad for the country. I don't know if it's recoverable. So there's that. I don't know if it is recoverable. Guys, here's what's going on. So the radio show is going to continue at WIBC.com. I usually we live stream till 2. I got to get off the live stream right now. I apologize. It's not that I don't love you. You know that. Come here. Come here. Let me kiss you right on the kepi. Tell you everything's going to be okay. A kepi, forehead. A little Yiddish for you. You're welcome. While we're talking about the Jews, I might as well just bloop, put that right in there. Put that right in there. Guys, I appreciate you. Don't forget to follow at TonyKatz.com. Don't forget to subscribe right here on YouTube. Can't thank you enough. I'm back on Monday. I'll see you then, guys. That's all there is. Sounds good. Go to WIBC.com, catch out more of the show, or check out more of the show, catch more of the show, do all those things. I'll catch you later.